you ready, Matt?
Yeah, we're
And
good.
Alex, you're ready?
Get this kid a mic.
I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready. All right.
Action.
So we're back. It's another episode of the Memo. You got Richard, Alex, and Matt, just as always. This week we're going to start off with a stamp or shred. Then we're going to do not call-in questions, but we had some Instagram questions that we put on our story. We're going to answer a few of those, and then we'll end it off with predictions again. And I'm going to say this. If anyone has any ideas of any segments we should do, we're trying to mix it up, make it different every week. So maybe message us on Instagram or something. We actually had someone message us last week. So that was cool. And, just let us know. We're trying to keep it interesting.
Anything that you want to see, we're open to ideas. So we'll just keep switching
Matt's
up new
bare
content.
chest with mayo on it.
Anything besides Richard being off the show is probably good.
Okay.
All right.
Starting early here. Okay. It's going to be that kind of episode.
Okay. So we'll start off with the stamp or shred. And the first statement we have, we all know what happened.
We need some drops.
We do need some drops.
You've got plenty of content that could be droppable.
Yeah.
I've started a few
Alex
times.
will have his own separate soundboard.
Yep.
So the first statement.
I do?
Yeah.
Like what?
What was the drop we were talking about?
The stutter.
Yeah, you stuttered pretty bad. Yeah. There was another one too.
This is a grizzly.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We should make that happen.
I'm sure there's an app on the computer or something.
All right, let's take a break. Let's find it.
Everything.
Yeah. All right. So the first statement we have, everyone knows what happened. Kareem Hunt has played his last NFL snap in the NFL. Stamp or shred?
Let's see. Where's my stamp?
Yeah.
We no stamps or shredders this week. You
get the point though.
The printer problems. We're really struggling getting things out of the printer.
Our shredder said he wasn't getting paid enough.
He
walked out on us.
We're in a contract dispute with the shredder.
Trying to get that CBA written out.
Yeah. Big time lockout.
But hopefully we'll see him back next week. But same idea. Stamp or shred, buy or sell if you're with the statement or if you're not. Kareem Hunt playing his last snap in the NFL. As much as I would want to stamp it, as I think it's deservedly so that he never plays again, I think that we've seen it before with teams giving these second chances to players. It probably won't. Reuben Foster. That's a weird situation there too. But that's even worse than a team is giving a second chance, a second chance immediately. I think Hunt will be. He'll probably sit out next season on that commissioner's exempt list, whatever. He's not allowed anywhere near football right now. And as much as I said, a player like that should never play again. I do see a team, unfortunately, giving him that second chance. A lot of the times, talent kind of oversees a lot of ethical reasons that you would like to see him kept out of the league. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's back on a team, not next year, but the year after.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on this one. The only thing is that makes me hesitant to shred it because the statement was, this is Kareem Hunt's last snap in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that there's a video. So that was obviously a big thing with the whole Ray Rice scandal. But this is a totally different story. This is a guy in his second season, still has a lot of football to play. He's not over the hump like Ray Rice was.
kind of old.
I agree with Matt. I think a team's going to give him a second chance. Not that he deserves one or anything, but some team is going to make up some complete bullshit about how he's changed and he deserves a second chance. But me personally, my thinking is that's a load of garbage. The guy's 23 years old. You don't need to teach him not to kick women and beat the shit out of women. But some team will justify it in their own heads and make that decision that they want to field a competitive football team. A lot of teams need good running backs.
Yeah. In a perfect world, obviously, he would never see the field again. We know that that's not the situation that we're in. And again, I've said this before, and it seems like such fake outcry and people, what's okay and what's not okay. When this happens and the news breaks, whatever team Hunt's on the Chiefs, the Chiefs have absolutely no choice. You have to cut him, get rid of him, he's done. time passes, things like get over. People go on to the next bullshit that happened the next week, and then all of a sudden, it's time to give him a second chance. Like, he deserves it. And then the team that signs him, they're like, it's okay. Like, he's this and that. Like, it's just such a flawed system. Like, time was not going to erase what happened, and like, that's the kind of guy he is. And I've been reading that there's multiple assaults.
Yep.
This was the only time it was a woman involved, but other assaults at like bars and clubs and shit. It seems like a guy who just is like violent off the field and can't control himself,
Yeah.
So there's not like a guy like that. If you give him a second chance, it's like he's a repeat offender. You can't allow him to think that that's okay.
People are gonna
the
forget
NFL
about it.
has been all over the place in terms of domestic violence and how they go about the punishments. They're very, in the past, have been very swayed by
They're
public
so
opinion.
reactive.
Yes. But I think we're on the same page there. I'm with you guys. I would hope he doesn't play again in the NFL. You never want to see someone like that, like in a league that you love, and you don't want them to go to your team, and then you have to support them if they play well. But I agree. I'll shred that he has played his last snap. Someone's going to pick him up. So he's too young and too talented for someone not to take that risk and then just deal with the PR for however long until he's good for them, and then everyone forgets because that's what happens.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this affects the Chiefs going forward.
Yeah. I mean,
their offensive firepower is well documented, but losing a player like that, I feel like it has to affect you somehow.
Yeah, he's a talented, very talented player.
Yeah, he led the league in rushing last year.
Yeah, he's been a huge part of their
now
offense.
Spencer Ware is the guy now.
Yeah, they're going back to Spencer Ware. Obviously not the same player that Hunt is, but he's been on that team for a while. He's been productive in the past. He was Charles's replacement that year that I think they might have they made the playoffs or they I think it was that year that they blew that lead against the Colts. But he filled in for Charles. He was fine. I think they're obviously going to take a minor step back, but I don't think this will be a huge loss in the grand scheme of things. That offense is just too potent. Such a great system. Andy Reid, all those players, they still have a ton of firepower.
Yeah. I don't think it'll. I mean, it's kind of tough. We've said before, a young quarterback especially, really, that rushing attack can really help a young quarterback succeed, and Spencer Ware is nowhere near the level of Kareem Hunt. And he's also very, very efficient and active in the passing game. And Spencer Ware is not going to replicate that productivity. So I think it'll definitely take a hit. I mean, people won't respect the run as much. They can't dump it off to someone like Kareem Hunt anymore when there's no one open downfield. So we'll see. I don't expect them to take too much of a step back, but I'm sure we'll see some sort of impact on their offense.
And Ware has also had a couple bad injuries in his past, I believe. He's missed a lot of games.
Tore his ACL.
Yeah.
I had him at fantasy.
Really?
Yeah, and they tore his ACL, and I didn't get Hunt.
Wow.
So,
but
but they did bring back Charkandrick West, which is huge.
Those two guys, dude, they've been there for so long. Just
They've
always
been on the Chiefs since 2006.
and they always manage to get involved.
Made that up.
But what I was saying is, like, if he goes down, we've seen him get hurt in the past. Like, who's next up? It would be West as their go-to guy. Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
what's going on?
This guy off camera is distracting.
But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, and I think as we get closer and closer to the playoffs, I think that we're going to be poking a lot more holes into the Chiefs.
Yeah.
As we get closer to seeing what they're actually going to be about.
Yeah. This is really unfortunate situation overall for fans, the organization, just NFL fans in general.
Yeah.
You never want to see a star player getting involved in something like that. Yeah. So
going back to the Reuben Foster thing, it's like it's crazy the short-term memory that the general public has. This guy was literally he was convicted of domestic violence, and
No, he wasn't.
Was he not?
She was,
or he had charges pressed against him?
He had charges the original time, and then they were dropped because she said that she was lying or something, or she said it wasn't true.
Sus.
Very sus, and then it happened again. So the second time they were like, "All right, you're cut." And I think
Right.
the trial is still ongoing.
And then the team just claims him off waivers the next day, and people are in an uproar about it, quote unquote, for a day.
There's worse things that happen.
Yeah, there's worse things that happen, quote unquote.
Dude, it was
There's
ridiculous.
an uproar for a day, and now nobody's going to talk about it. So.
And Gruden said, the coach of the Redskins said, there's no there's like he might never play for us. Like
He
he
said
openly
that.
said that. He was like he may never see the field for us, but like
He's
So
on the
why
roster.
sign him?
why even bother? Why even
Yeah.
bother taking that chance? It just makes you look terrible.
Yeah.
Let it
Especially-
play out. Who knows? Like let the justice system play itself out, and then if he's okay to play,
Yeah, I know.
sign him. But what's the rush?
Especially the Redskins. Like Peter Rosenberg was talking about this, like the whole issue with their name and how their name is racist, and apparently they were like the last team to integrate after like when the league was segregated.
Adrian Peterson.
The cheerleading scandal.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
Adrian
That's
Peterson. They're not doing anything about that. You know, it's very. I don't know. You want to see teams act in a higher, more moral standard.
They're a terrible organization. they got a lot of
Yeah.
demons over there. But yeah, you know,
They're right in
what do
the
you,
thick of it.
I'll say, I mean, because the NBA is the only other league we've talked about so far besides the NFL. The NFL, in terms of handling stuff like this, like the NBA is like golden boy compared to the NFL.
Yeah.
You never really see anything like this going down.
It's
Except
just
for
so-
maybe
it's just
Gilbert
so
Arenas, the Glock in the locker room, whatever that was. But
It's king shit.
all right.
Is Javaris Crittenton, is he dead or is he in jail?
Who the fuck is
He was
that?
the guy that they were like showing their guns to each other.
Javaris Curtington?
Crittenton.
Never in my
And
life
with that,
have I
and with
heard
that,
that
we
name.
move on to the next Stanford shred. Yeah, I have no idea
Read
who that
about it,
is.
though.
Never in
Um,
my life.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know as much as I thought I did. All right. So the next statement we got in the Stamper shred, we're only doing 2 today, and this one is the NFC is a 2-team race, and those 2 teams obviously being Saints and the Rams. Basically, there's no other team that has a chance in the NFC besides those 2 teams.
You think that, or you're just saying?
Well, I was just like elaborating on the
The team.
stand, but I do think that they're. Actually, I don't. But I'm sure the reason why we are doing this statement is obviously the Cowboys just beat the Saints, but they're not even the team that I would say has a chance to make noise besides those 2 teams. I mean, you got the Vikings, and like if the Seahawks make it, you can't count out Russell Wilson. You can't count out Pete Carroll. Like
The Seahawks are that's the team that I'm looking at that might knock off one of these teams.
yeah, I mean. They went at it with the Rams.
Matt is appalled.
No. That wasn't any disrespect to you. I just couldn't believe you actually said it.
Who, Alex?
Yeah. No. Look, I don't want to cut you guys off. Are you in the middle of
Well, you
finishing your
did.
thought? He cut me in by bringing me up.
All right.
Interesting.
Speak.
Okay, there's a lot of teams in the NFC now that we think might have a chance.
Yeah, there's 15 of them.
Okay, so then that makes it not a 2-team race, then wouldn't you say? So
Yeah, I'll shred that.
yeah, I'm shredding it too in the fact, and you guys mentioned that you didn't mention the team that everyone should be most concerned about, which is the Dallas Cowboys.
You
As-
mentioned them.
But you mentioned he said them as in like not them, but the Bears, Vikings, the Vikings. We're really gonna seriously
Yeah.
still hang on to the Vikings
You never
season
know.
here. Okay,
Never
I
know.
do like Seattle, but the team is the Dallas Cowboys. I think that they've emerged as a legitimate threat to knock one of these teams off. Just with everything that you've seen, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, they've never been a great defensive team. It's always kind of been their weakness. But they're 5th rushing defense in the league, the 7th passing defense in the league. That's
It's great defense.
it's about as balanced as you can get.
Got the pass.
I
rush.
think they're
I look at
second
them-
in points per game too, like under.
Allowed.
Yeah,
Okay.
18 points per game.
With a
something like
running with a running attack like that, call me crazy. I think that they have the potential. They're just like the Jaguars of last season, with that strong defense, a game manager quarterback who, if you have a strong running game, you can get by with him. Dak has been playing some of his best football as a pro. Hasn't thrown a pick in 5 games. It looks like they're just clicking on all cylinders. Again, not asking Dak to do too much. When we spoke weeks ago about the Amari Cooper addition and what he can mean for them, it's been a home run so far. He's looked really well for them, balancing out Ezekiel Elliott's run game with Cooper's offense, with Cooper's air attack. I just think that they're clicking at the right time. They just completely shut down the Saints. The Saints don't want to see them again in the second round if that's who they're going to have to play. You look at teams like the Bears and the Seahawks, but I think Cowboys are right there in the middle of it as teams that the top 2, Rams and Saints, should be afraid of moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have been down on the Cowboys, and they're proving me wrong. I mean, I was just going based off what I was seeing from them so far in the season, and they were not playing well early in the season, especially. Now they're looking really good. Their defense is obviously great. DeMarcus Lawrence is one of the best pass rushers in the league. Mm-hmm. But the thing about the Saints and the Rams compared to the Cowboys is the Cowboys have to play a certain game to win. The Rams and the Saints, I feel, can win in several different ways. Like, the Cowboys need to be running the ball well. They need their defense to be lights out, and they need Dak to not turn the ball over and just, like, manage the game. And in the playoffs, I feel like it's really hard to get that perfect game every game. I mean, they're 7-5, so obviously they're having an up and down season.
They made the Saints play their game last week.
Yeah, but any team can be caught off guard. They had one loss the entire season. They're not going to go 15-1. Like, they're going to drop some games. And I'm like, no disrespect to the Cowboys, obviously great win, but I don't know. I just don't see them in the playoffs, especially like against a player like a guy like Drew Brees, especially if they're going against the Saints again. I don't see something like that happening again. I could see maybe like a hard-fought battle. I don't think Dak has the experience. I mean, I never really liked Jason Garrett. I'm surprised he's been there for so long. Yeah. I feel like he's like kind of like a Marvin Lewis almost. Like, just has the organization just has its back, and he's just keeping the job based on that. But no, I mean, I hate to disrespect them off. I mean, I don't hate to disrespect them because I don't like them, but off a great win against the Saints. But I just don't see them. Maybe they'll get a nice win in the playoffs, but I don't think it'll be against either of those two teams. But that's just me.
I'm with Richard on this one, and I think it all comes down to Dak Prescott. I just don't think he is a talented enough quarterback to will this team to a victory against those top teams in the NFC. Talking about the Saints and the Rams in the playoffs. I know that he just beat them, but the game was in Dallas, no? So they're not going to finish with a great record. They're going to have to go into whatever team they're playing, their home field. And
oh no.
Well, they're going to have, if they win the division, they'll have a home game.
Yeah, they'll have a home game in the first round.
Wait a second.
Are we pausing?
No, we'll keep this in the podcast for everyone to see our failures at life. But
all right,
we're good now.
It's back on striking.
For Spotify and iTunes listener, the lights turned off, so that's what happened.
I don't trust Dak to go into New Orleans or go into LA and beat the Saints or the Rams, especially the Saints the second time. I trust the Seahawks a lot more, they have a fantastic running game, best in the league. The defense it's okay, it's middle of the pack. It's not great. It's not nothing special, but a good running game can alleviate the pressure on that defense, and they have a coach and a quarterback who won Super Bowls. So
been to multiple, won.
Been to multiple Super Bowls, won. I trust them a lot more than the Cowboys. But I going back to the statement, I don't think this is a two-team race. I think that the Cowboys definitely could give a team like the Saints or the Rams some trouble. I think the Seahawks are more suited for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I do still have faith in the Vikings as well.
The Vikings are waiting to be put out of their misery. That team is just
they were bad.
Disappointment
week after week. They were destined for that.
They lose to every big game they play. Every big matchup they're in, they lose. The Rams, the Saints,
I wasn't surprised
the
about
Patriots.
This past week though.
Why not?
They're not a better team than the Patriots. They lost.
But you can hang with them. They got blown out. They scored 10 points.
It
wasn't close. They looked like an inferior team, and that's not what they were supposed to be coming into the season. They've continued to look worse and worse every year.
That's true, but they get hot at the right time. If they get hot at the right time, they have enough talent on that roster.
I still don't even know what the problem is.
They just have to get in the playoffs.
The offensive line.
But you just said yourself, it hasn't been that atrocious with the sack rate that Cousins has.
Yeah, I mean he's middle of the pack in terms of times he's been sacked, but
I guess it's
still an issue. That defense is good. It's a good defense. They have the firepower on. They don't really have a running game. That could be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. I mean, DeFilippo, I was reading a lot about DeFilippo just because, as a Jets fan, you got to start reading up on these potential coaches. And apparently he doesn't use Dalvin Cook a lot at all. He had 9 carries for 87 yards or something. I mean, like almost 10 yards a carry. It is over 10 yards a carry. I think. No, it's not. I'm an idiot.
That is less than 10 yards
yeah.
per carry.
It's definitely less than 10. Don't hit me up for math questions.
But-
But
Cook hasn't done anything with the touches he's been getting, so I don't
We
really
just
blame
said
him.
that he had 9 carries for 87 yards.
Cook hasn't been really doing much with the touches he's been getting.
Maybe
I'm just saying.
give him more touches, see what happens.
they're definitely very pass happy. They're not looking to run the ball too much.
It's a-
I mean,
it's a
understandable.
similar story to
Spend
the Packers.
$30 million a year on a quarterback, but
Aaron Jones is having a fairly good season with the amount of touches he gets. He averages
They've been giving him more touches, though.
well, they play one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL, in the Cardinals, and he gets 11 carries and has 33 yards. Come on, stick
Yeah.
with it.
It's not good. Well, that guy doesn't have a job anymore, so
Yeah, and we'll
now
get
you know
into
why. We'll get into that. But going back to NFC, I think we can agree it's more wide open. Not wide open. It's more competitive than people might
I
be
think
thinking
it's
right now.
still Saints Rams, but there are a few teams that if they get hot and play the right game, the perfect game against them, they
Upsets
can,
happen.
Yeah, of course.
Upsets
All right.
happen.
So
Dallas.
That's
This
stamp-
year's Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that's an analogy and a half.
Yeah.
it. So they make it to the NFC Championship game and lose.
Yeah.
Okay, they'd have to go in and they'd
But still
upset the Steelers or the Saints.
Yeah. We'll see.
Could be that still makes it a 2-team race if they don't make it there.
Cowboys will
Me
beat.
for.
Okay, right now, look at me.
All right.
Make a bold
Ev-
prediction,
yeah.
Tom.
Cowboys are gonna beat the Rams in the divisional round of the playoffs.
Wow, I can't wait to make an ice cold take video based on this. All right. We'll end the stamp or shred on the mic drop from Matt Brodsky. Everyone heard it. Record it, screen record it, audio record it, whatever you want. Matt Brodsky said the Dallas Cowboys will beat the Los Angeles Rams in the divisional round of the NFC playoffs. The
Dak
NFL.
Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
If they do, you both have to get Dak Prescott jerseys.
Fine.
Deal?
I'll buy a real one too.
No,
If they don't, will you sing
China
karaoke?
ones.
Okay, China ones. $15, no problem.
Let's make that a thing.
All right, deal. Handshake right here on video. Alex
Alex?
is scared.
I have to get a Dak Prescott jersey.
Yeah,
if they beat the Rams in the divisional round of the playoffs.
and we'll wear it.
I don't have anything against Dak Prescott. I mean, it's a pretty fresh jersey, honestly.
All right, that's a stamper
Can I
shred
get
for
the
today.
Mississippi State one?
Nope.
No,
Dallas.
Cowboys.
Big D.
Let's move on
Shake your hand.
from these boys. That's a stamper shred for today. Sorry about the lack of stamp and shred. You know, you can boo us.
Do it.
It's definitely
Give us a loud one.
give us a nice boo. We deserve it. Sorry for the lack of stamp or shred today. Ah. fuck. All right, we're gonna go on to the questions. Yeah, we posted on our Instagram story just asking for some questions about the NFL or the NBA. We got some good ones. I'm gonna start a 15-minute timer. We're gonna get through as many as we can. Once it goes off, we'll have to stop. Sorry if we don't get to your question. We'll do it in the future, so don't worry. We'll try and get to you in the future. Timer starts now, and Alex will read off
us
the
off.
questions. So kick us off.
First question we have is from my buddy Alec Abunza asking, would it be shocking if the Bears beat the Rams? And would winning or holding them to a close game quiet the doubters? What do you think, Brodsky?
This is Trubisky playing?
Yeah.
Was he?
I think wasn't he close to playing this week? I don't know. Let's
Let-
go
let's
based
assume
on the
he is.
fact that he's playing.
Yeah,
Just
let's
for the
assume
sake
he
of the
is. I think
question.
he's-
Because if
yeah.
he's not, then the question's kind of pointless. But
Well, if he's not and they still hold it to
Well,
a close
yeah.
game, then that's
That's
yes,
definitely
would silence
impressive.
the
Yeah.
doubters. Okay, but no, you're right. Assuming he's gonna play, who's still doubting the Bears?
yeah, I don't. It's definitely interesting at this point.
I think that they've solidified themselves as a legit team. They're probably, I don't know if they're probably going to win the NFC North because they are only 2 games up and they play the Vikings.
I mean, we did just talk about the NFC being a 2-team race, and we didn't really talk about the Bears at all. So
Okay,
can't believe we forgot them.
right. So it's a good thing this question was first. I think if the Bears play the Rams close or even do beat them, absolutely would silence the doubters. It's kind of like straightforward like that. But assuming that they lose a tight game or even if it's not that competitive, I think the Bears are still going to be around come late in the season. I think that they're one of the best teams. They're probably the 3rd best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Record-wise,
Yeah,
they are.
record-wise,
Talent-wise, it's pretty close. This is a team I was down on in the beginning of the year, but their defense has proved me wrong. And in a league which what we talked about last week, where it's just that big play or making that big stop when you need to, rather than the length of a whole game, when you have a game wrecker like Khalil Mack, like that's all you need, and he's been unreal this season.
They have game changers in the secondary and in the front.
That
seven.
guy Eddie Jackson is
the
insane.
safety.
Yeah,
And Fuller is still really good.
He is good.
He's got 6 picks on the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Eddie Jackson is having like one of the best years for a defensive back. I think he's a safety.
Yes, he is. He's in the conversation for DPOY, but
That's crazy.
Aaron Donald's going to win it. So.
Yeah, that conversation is Aaron Donald. But I think the Bears would be they would quiet a lot of doubters with a win or a close game.
I think the doubters have pretty much been silenced, including myself. I was a doubter.
Myself too.
Yeah, not even like 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, if they beat the Rams, obviously, then they're 9-3. They just beat the number 1 seed in the NFC. So obviously, at that point, you can't. If you're denying that the Bears are great at that point, then you're really just not watching football, I guess.
And if they beat the Rams, they're right in the conversation for maybe a first round bye.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they would need the Rams to drop another game,
or the
which is
Saints.
possible.
Actually, no, they have 4 losses.
Who?
The Bears.
I thought they
They
were
have
8-3.
They just lost to the
Oh, they
Giants.
did just lose. Yes.
All right. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So they would.
But yeah, I agree with Matt. I wouldn't be shocked. I've liked the Bears ever since the preseason. Would winning or holding to a close game quiet the doubters? If there are still doubters, I don't think holding them to a close game does. Win's a win, a loss is a loss. I don't think. I mean, the Rams have played plenty of close games, so it's not like people are so high on the Seahawks for playing the Rams tight. They like the Seahawks because they win games.
Yeah.
A win would put the NFC on notice,
And
for sure.
And if
Yeah,
they
I agree
win
with
and
that.
there are still doubters, it's just people who want to hate the Bears at that point. So don't take them
It's
seriously.
a big game.
Yeah.
It's a big game.
It's going to be hopefully a good game.
Sunday
I hope
night
Trubisky
football
plays.
in Chicago. It should be cool.
Yeah, it sucks that Trubisky's been out. You
Yeah.
want to see him get this experience, and
Yep.
But hopefully he's back.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
question though.
Good question.
Thanks for
Yep. Is he a Bears fan?
Yes, he is.
Nice.
Thanks for reminding us
Good
that
luck.
NFL teams exist. Clearly, we forgot about one of the best ones.
Cool
all right.
team too.
Yeah. Their white uniforms are so
They are
sick.
fresh. They are fresh. All right, what do we got next?
Second question from Enzo Vecchio.
Hey, and
Was it the right decision to fire Mike McCarthy? Get him, Brodsky.
So
wasn't there a second part to that question?
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Why does Marvin Lewis still have a job?
Why does I don't know.
Yeah, we wish I could answer that second part. No one knows why Marvin Lewis still has a job. I heard he's actually going to retire after this year to stop them from firing
Yeah.
him. I think he's stepping down.
Step down on a high note.
It's a joke.
in his eyes.
I think I got like 7 free years.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But Mike McCarthy, I think Enzo, what he means by that is at this point in time.
Yeah,
Because I feel like definitely he was getting fired at the end of the year regardless. But I think it was the right time. There's never, a wrong time to make a right decision. If he's going, he's going, why even
like
waste? That. Why even waste your time? Let's get it out of the way.
Jets.
Right? Like it's happening.
Jets,
just let it
just
happen
fucking fire
already.
Todd Bowles already.
Nothing's you're just sitting in neutral waiting for the season to end so you can and now the Packers they know that they're in the market. They can talk to college coaches now.
Yeah.
They can feel out the market. They can be ahead of the curve rather than firing your head coach, starting your job search at the end of the season and then getting the leftovers for teams that have been ahead, like the Browns and the Packers and these teams who have already fired their coaches.
It's sort of like, hey, look, everyone, he's gone. Like, guaranteed this job is open.
Yeah,
so,
and it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You want it. Come talk to us. We'll talk to you.
And I'm sure there had to be some bad blood between Rodgers and McCarthy.
Oh,
you don't want it to turn into some.
Yeah, that's like an unspoken truth.
Yeah.
Dude, I was hearing McCarthy was calling the plays. Rodgers would just audible everything at the line. He was calling his own game basically. And honestly, it wasn't working because you can't do that as a quarterback. You have to be on the same page with your play caller.
Yeah.
It's just got toxic.
Another thing is it gives the guy, the interim head coach, whoever that is now, gives him a chance to show what he's got. You know,
Joe Philbin.
Joe Philbin. I mean, he's been a head coach before.
Yeah.
Not really successful.
The Dolphins. No, he was not that good. But that's also a good point to, like, when we bring up the Jets. A lot of people have been saying that the Jets don't have that guy who can step in to be an interim. Or
they don't.
Right,
they
so
really
like
don't.
that's probably, but that might be part of the reason why they're letting Bulls hang around.
Just let him stay and lose every game. I mean,
I guess.
no, I do want him gone, but
You don't want to let this, like, you can't just as a front office you can't just seem as though you're okay with losing.
yeah.
Because that's just going to trickle down to the players, and it's going to ruin the culture, and you're going to end up being a joke of an organization. So I do think it was the right move to fire Mike McCarthy right now.
Especially,
He makes the team worse,
look,
to be quite honest.
if you lose at home to the Cardinals, whatever coach it is should be fired.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's the last straw. You cannot do that.
Yeah, it's a fireable offense for
It
sure.
literally is. The one caveat to the whole thing is that he did win a Super Bowl, and like he's been there for so long. So a lot of people thought, like, out of respect, you let him finish the season. He's definitely like one of the great coaches for the Packers. They have a proud history, but he had a lot of great years. So people were a little upset about that. But at the end of the day, his time was up.
Yep.
Just get him out. Like, he's made his fair share of mistakes this season.
I mean, Matt
scrapped him.
mostly has said his opinions on McCarthy, but it's really just. I agree with it. I think it was the right move. It was time.
Yeah.
Just get him out of there, and like we said before, just let every coach in the league know it's not just these young quarterbacks who are open. It's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah,
So.
He's just not really a competent coach. That's the bottom
He'll probably
line.
get picked up, though.
He'll probably get picked up, but like he's got to change something. Like,
Yeah.
Going back to what I said about Aaron Jones, guys having a good season, you're playing one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL, and he only gets 11 carries. I mean, I feel like if anybody with a decent offensive mind was in Mike McCarthy's shoes there, you feed the ball to Aaron Jones, make it a little bit easier on Rodgers.
Yeah. And they just didn't see eye to eye towards the end, McCarthy and Rodgers.
Yeah.
And you know in Green Bay, whatever Rodgers says is going to
Right.
go. So.
Right. Rightfully so. But yeah, that's it. McCarthy, the front office saw my scrap heap. They took heed, and they got him out fast.
Yeah. All right.
You gonna take
Did we get
selfies of
the
yourself all night?
Who we got
I see
next?
you over
Did
there,
we get the
Cornfeld.
question from the Packers owner? I heard he's a big fan of the podcast.
Yeah. He emailed me. He said he wanted to feature on the show, and I said I just don't know if we can really.
Fit it in the schedule.
Yeah,
We'll see.
you
You got
know,
a packed crowd
you
lately.
They actually aren't they owned by
The
The
fans.
city of
Yeah.
Green Bay.
I
Some-
don't
some bullshit.
I don't want to
like
get into that.
Just some guy with a cheese on his head.
I'm the city of Green Bay. All right, who's next?
that. Next, we got Noah Brooks.
Noah.
This wasn't exactly what he said, but in to paraphrase, why are we not giving the Nuggets the respect they deserve? They are the 1 seed in the West, tied for first place in the Western Conference. So, why are we not giving the Nuggets the respect they deserve?
I want Richard to start this one off.
All right. I guess I gotta defend. Maybe not come clean. I don't know. Obviously, anyone who watches knows I'm a Lakers fan, and maybe my sarcastic, trying to be funny, shitting on teams gets lost in translation among those who don't know me. All right, the Nuggets are a good team. I have shit on them in the past. I make my jokes, whatever. People don't like it. Look, I understand they're tied. They are the 1 seed currently in the West right now. They're playing really well. They have a lot of really good players, young good players. But the reason I do not put them in like the upper echelon of these teams in the West is they don't have. There are players in the West named Steph Curry, Kevin Durant on the same team. Then you got LeBron, you got James Harden, you got they choke in the playoffs, the Trailblazers, but you got Lillard and McCollum on the Trailblazers.
The Sweet Blazers.
Yeah, the Sweet Blazers. You got Anthony Davis, who is the reason for the Sweet Blazers. You got all these superstars on these teams, and the Nuggets have 4 really, really good young players. And
Team basketball. Whatever happened to
team basketball in the playoffs it's not. And then the Spurs, they got I'm not gonna say he's a superstar, but they have DeRozan and they're the Spurs. They're always
They play
so well
team
coached.
basketball.
They do, but they have. I'd say DeRozan is better than anyone on the Nuggets. But let me finish. I just don't think any of those four. There's 4 players averaging at least 16 a game. You got Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Jokic, and it's not.
Barton has played 2 games.
Oh,
this
it's not
season.
him.
So it's 3 players.
It's 3 players. Sorry.
Technically, Barton. 19
last
and
year,
14.
He's gonna lie to us right now.
All right.
Trey
but-
Lyles.
I just think once they get to the playoffs, they're gonna obviously come across one of these teams who have a superstar, Harden, LeBron, Steph, whoever it is, and these young guys, this young team who plays team basketball. There's gonna be close games in the playoffs, and the teams with the superstars are gonna come out on top because those players are gonna take over the game, and I mean, that's just how it always goes. I compared a few podcasts ago. I was talking about the Atlanta Hawks were like the 1 seed in the East one year. And who did they have? They had like Korver, Teague, was it Millsap? All these guys.
They made it to the conference finals.
But they didn't. No one really thought they were going to do anything.
But they
It was
made
also
it to
the
the
East.
conference
it's also
finals.
the East. Like, they're not.
It was when the East was not good.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, and now, like, look at the West. Look how close it is. I know they're playing really well. People. You can say, I guess, out of all these players, people want to say Jokic is a superstar. I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's I think he's a star, definitely an all-star. He's a really good player. But if your best player is a player like that, I just can't see you really getting over the top. I mean, you can say, like, oh, when it comes to crunch time, Jamal Murray, give him the ball. But their best player is Jokic, and I don't think you can give them the ball at the end of the game in the playoffs in the fourth quarter, something like that, and will them to a win.
How specific of a statement that is?
But it's gonna
happen.
But the question is, why are they not getting the respect they deserve? They're one of the most complete teams in the Western Conference. They should be treated like that.
I mean, what do you want us to? I mean, sorry, no, I don't know if you want to. How often we're going to talk about the Nuggets, but
I don't think they should just be written off away because they don't have
I'm
10
just saying,
seconds left.
This is
in
why
game 7 of the third round.
I don't give them that much respect. Maybe I should give them more respect right now during the regular season. But I'm just saying, like, I'm just thinking about what matters, and that's what
until
the playoffs.
they don't do it.
I mean, they
shouldn't
couldn't
act
do
like they
last
can't
year.
do
They
it.
had to play one game to get in, and they couldn't do that.
Okay, well they're a year more advanced. They're still like one of the youngest teams in the league.
I know they're a year more advanced. They started the year 9-1. Now they're 15-7.
16-7. They've won 6 in a row. They just won in Toronto. They're fourth.
That was a good win. That's just me. That's how I feel.
Okay, and I get it.
I maybe one day Murray, maybe one of them will turn into a really complete superstar that I will trust in the playoffs.
They haven't been in the playoffs, so you don't know. Like, you can't say that they can't do it.
They played a playoff game last year, technically.
Okay, but okay, so that's one game that they played. Whatever the case was, like, the Timberwolves were better. Fine. But Murray, like, until we see him in that situation, he has all the tools to do it. You don't, like, maybe he will hit some big shots in the playoffs. I'm not going to just write them off as a team that can't do it. And they're one of the most complete teams in the league. They're fourth in the league in assists per game. Like, they just play team basketball, waiting for Barton to come back. That's just going to be another piece off the bench or in the starting lineup that can score. Yeah. And I think that there is something to be said for a team that plays team basketball. Like, a lot of these players like to go isolation, one-on-one, a superstar crunch time. I think we're asking a lot of, like, players like that to do that. When you have options and you have a good system in place, you can get things
What
done.
happens is teams get cold and they can't hit shots, and then that doesn't work anymore. You have to have someone give the ball to a Durant, a LeBron, a Harden, a Davis, someone like that. When the team basketball isn't working, you have to be able to go to someone.
I think
and
Jamal Murray's going to be that guy.
Maybe one day, but I mean, he's averaging 17 points per game. Good for a 21, 22-year-old. That's really good. But in the playoffs against Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Durant, James Harden, Chris
they're
Paul,
not gonna beat the
LeBron
Warriors.
James, Davis, McCollum, and Lillard, I just don't see it.
I think they could beat the Trailblazers.
I think that's what it is. And if we're going to answer this question, why are we not giving the Nuggets the respect they deserve? It's everybody knows the Nuggets are a solid team, good team, probably going to finish with a good record. But the answer to this question, we're not giving them the respect they deserve, is because we've played a quarter of the season so far. It doesn't matter.
And the seeding in the West right now is decided by, like, 2 games, so
that's true
it could
too.
change in a day.
That's true too, but this is just a symptom of the NBA being highly uncompetitive. We're a quarter way through the season, and even if we were halfway, 3/4 the full season, and the Nuggets were a top team in the West, I still think the Nuggets aren't going to be getting the respect that they deserve, quote unquote, because nobody thinks that they're going to beat the Warriors. Nobody thinks. I mean, well, basically just the Warriors, but even some other teams you might argue, like the Lakers, like a lot of people would say, no matter what record these teams finish with, the Nuggets aren't going to be able to beat a team that has LeBron James on it.
We've seen a lot of pretty good teams can't, and with LeBron having worst players on his roster. But I think it's even more than just LeBron. There's other teams in the West that have played. But keep going. Sorry.
So to answer the question, the reason we're not giving the Nuggets the respect they deserve is because you can play as well as you want in the regular season. Doesn't matter if you don't have a big three, or if you don't have a superstar or multiple superstars. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
You mentioned that the Trailblazers and the Pelicans and on all these teams. Why are we going to pretend that these teams have accomplished anything either? The Trailblazers get swept in the playoffs. The Pelicans underachieve every year. You have teams like right now the Rockets are not looking good. It's the Lakers and the Warriors. Sure, if the Nuggets can't beat those teams, fine. But why can't they beat any other team in the first or second round? Portland has never done shit.
I think they can.
The Pelicans have never done shit. These teams are underachieving.
Maybe in the first round, but are you asking us? I'm talking to Noah right now. Like, are you asking us to respect them as one of the best teams in the West that I think can? I don't want to talk about make it to the finals because we all know Golden State, but I think they're too young. They don't have that guy. They may play team basketball, but it's just.
I do think it's a year too early for them. I think they're only going to continue to get better.
You're seeing great things from them.
So
but
I'll give them that. Let's get Michael Porter Jr. on the court, see what he can do. He's probably more fit for them next season.
Look, you need a 20-point per game scorer on the team. Like, you got to have a guy.
Until you don't, maybe they're the team that doesn't.
We'll
see.
The Warriors play team
first.
ball as well as anybody, but they have. I don't want to compare anyone to the Warriors, but like they have guys scoring 20 points per game. The Spurs you brought up, they play team ball better than anyone. But like you got DeRozan putting up great numbers, you got Aldridge putting up great numbers. Like 2 veterans. It's just I don't see them. It's experience, it's coaching experience, it's just talent levels. I don't know. That's why I don't talk about the Nuggets like they're the next great thing. But I'll concede. I disrespect them a little too hard with my bias.
That's fair. I think that I don't think either one of you are wrong because they are super young and super unproven. But I think that they're gonna surprise people. Like I like the team a lot.
Yeah, I would not be surprised by them.
A lot of
beating.
If I was a Nuggets fan, I'd be very happy. You got some really good young studs on the team.
And if they can pull off a win in the first round, maybe a second round victory, make it to the conference finals, if they get like an easy draw, they should be very happy with that. But they're not going past that.
All right,
we've probably got time for maybe one more question.
All right,
Cam.
Which one do we like more here, Brodsky?
We can't do both.
Yeah, we can try.
I added a little time on the timer. We got 2 minutes.
We'll be pretty quick.
All right. From Nick Grunwald, will the Panthers make
Shout
the
out
playoffs?
Mayru Music. Follow that on Instagram. Good stuff.
Mayru Music. Shout out Mayru Music and Nick. Will the Panthers make the playoffs, and what is up with Cam Newton?
Who wants to start there?
I'll start off. I haven't started anything off.
Cam Newton.
What is up with Cam Newton? Nothing, I don't think. I think he's dealing with an injury. He hurt that shoulder a few weeks back, and it looks like that's having an effect on his game. He had a really bad game against the Bucks, but prior to that, he still is having the best season of his career. His completion percentage is up in the high 60%. In his first 8 games, he only had 4 interceptions. In his last 4 games, he has 7. Granted, he had 4 in the last game. What is up with him? I I don't think the team's struggles is on him. Yes, he played bad in the last game, but still, he's having one of the best seasons of his career, and he's for the most part playing great. Now, will the Panthers make the playoffs? I'm going with no. They play the Saints twice in these last 4 games. That very much could be 2 losses for them. Most likely will be. And an 8-8 record, I don't think that's going to get you into the playoffs. If they could steal one from the Saints, then maybe. But as of right now, I would say no. They're not making the playoffs. Not with the way this defense is playing. Very uncharacteristic of the Panthers. They're getting run all over.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Their defense definitely a bit of a letdown this year. They're usually one of the top in the league, but yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised. Not surprised because he's coming off such a terrible game, Cam, but I remember like looking at his stats like in the past couple of weeks, and like his completion percentage is higher than it's ever been. Like, he's thrown 24 touchdowns, 11 picks. Like he's been playing well. So I'm pretty surprised at their record being 6-6, making the playoffs. They'd have to jump the Vikings or the Seahawks, who I think both teams are better than the Panthers at this point. I mean, you never know. They could drop a few here and there. I mean, the Vikings are 7-5-1. The Seahawks are 6-5-1. Sorry, and the Seahawks are 7-5.
They're only a half a game aside behind.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. I think both teams are better. The Seahawks and the Vikings are better than the Panthers. I don't know. I don't know what's up with Cam. I didn't know I didn't know that thing happened with his shoulder. I'm gonna say that's what's wrong. Because
and it's also I think it's just him. He's coming back to earth. You know, he was highly accurate in the first however many games of the season, and he's always been kind of known as this somewhat inaccurate passer. And he overperformed in the first half of the season, and now he's coming back to earth a little bit. But I don't think he's the reason why this team is struggling. There's a lot more problems.
Matt, no, you go first.
The thing with Cam that I'll say, and watching that Bucks game, first of all, this was his first real game where he was just bad. Like 4 picks, like he doesn't really do that often. But the thing that I've noticed from him repeatedly is like late in the game when like they need to get it done, he makes a mistake or he makes a bad play or a bad throw, and that showed it against Tampa. They had so many chances to come back. It was 24-17. Like honestly, lately holding the Bucks to under 30 points is impressive. Like they have the top offense in the league. So say what you want about their defense, like which is bad, but they gave them a chance to win that game. Cam had a chance to win that game, and he kept throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
So that loss is on him. The other games,
you're gonna have a bad game. I mean, it just happens.
Yeah, of course. But in that situation, like he couldn't afford that. On a 3-game losing streak against the Bucks, that's a get right game. You have to win that game.
Yeah.
And then so that was a really, really bad look. So going off that though, they were 6-2, man, and now they've lost 4 in a row. Like 6-6, put them right in the like they look like one of the favorites in the NFC.
Yeah, I was definitely high on them.
And the thing that's going to kill them, and I spoke to Nick about this at work, they play the Saints twice, like Alex just mentioned. Any other situation, like I want to say that they're going to make the playoffs, but having to do that twice, you have to win one of those games.
Mm-hmm. And then even you definitely won't win both, and that puts you at
already 7 losses.
Yeah, 7 losses. So
9-7 could get you a wild card, but again, and maybe Week 17, the Saints, who knows what the situation will be, that might be able to get them a win. It's in New Orleans that week, though. I want to say that they're going to make the playoffs because I do think that they're a playoff caliber team. But with those 2 Saints games, it makes it so tough. I'm going to have to say that the Seahawks have the inside track, having beaten the Panthers. So I think that they're going to have to miss out this year. But I think I think he's ultimately going to be okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and just like going back to what you said before, that he started the season like kind of hot and trailed off a bit. I mean, he's still completing almost 70% of his passes.
Yeah, I mean
69.5. So like the problem isn't Cam with the Panthers. I will say this: I think Christian McCaffrey is great. DJ Moore, obviously, a great surprise for them. Outside of that, like Funchess, he's pretty good. Olsen, I mean, he's injured all the time. He's not the same player. Like. I feel like they need to step up, get with the weapons around Cam.
McCaffrey's the best player in the league.
Yeah, especially he's really good. Just especially at receiver, they need more enough of these Kelvin Benjamin, Devin Funches, slow big guys. You need to give him some like quick playmaking, speedy guys. Open up the field.
It's not
You're right.
Cam Newton. You don't want this field spread around. So when no one's, you want him running the ball like down the field. Like come on.
drop it off to McCaffrey.
Yeah, drop it off to McCaffrey. Have guys streaking downfield. They're just like quick guys running under routes. Like spread the ball around. Spread the field for a guy who's one of the best running quarterbacks in the history of the league. And I mean, he's doing all he can at this point.
DJ Moore, you mentioned, he's going to be good.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Do we think if they miss the playoffs, are they going to look at moving on from Ron Rivera?
I thought you were going to say Cam Newton.
Yeah. I mean, they went 11-5 last year. And
but
if they finish it like 8-8, 9-7, winning record, like what are you going to do?
Probably stay.
I don't know. He, like you
Been
said,
there a while.
The thing is, though, who's going to be better? Who's the better option? Like he's clearly
these
a decent
college
coach.
coaches that they're more forward thinking. You know, Ron Rivera's kind of like an old school coach.
But we mentioned that the offense isn't their main problem. I think
That's
they need an influx of talent on
Yes.
defense.
No, you're right.
Defense, yeah. Their defense needs to play
Can
way
you
better.
name anyone in their secondary?
No.
I
Since they lost Norman, their secondary has
Yeah.
been atrocious.
I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Eric Reed.
Yeah, but
He's all right. I mean,
they
he's
didn't
good.
get him until
like mid-season.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Right.
good question, Nick. Cam Newton, he's going to be all right. Don't worry
he'll be
about
fine.
Cam.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's a Panthers fan. He's from North Carolina.
Interesting. That's cool.
Go Heels.
We had one more, you said?
Yeah, we have one more. Do we want to do it?
If we can make it quick, let's get it in there.
It should be addressed.
Okay. From Ethan Meyer, AFC playoff teams
We're going to
besides
move on to our next segment.
AFC playoff team besides the Ravens are 3-31 against the Patriots. Will anything change this year?
That's AFC
hope
playoff
so.
teams, like even in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like, not just playoff matchups. 3-31. That's the Chargers, the Steelers, the Chiefs,
The Colts.
the Colts, and the Texans.
Yeah,
3-31.
Tom Brady is all of their fathers.
He just stomps them all out.
Mahomes has only played him once. He's
Right.
0-1.
Okay, so you've got Rivers, Luck, Ben, and whichever quarterback the Texans have had.
Yes.
So it's really on. I mean, Luck is 0-6, Rivers is 0-7, Ben is 2-8. Those three of them, it's straight up unacceptable.
I'm very surprised of Ben being 2-8.
I'm
I guess I shouldn't be, but I feel like you'd
I'm
think.
surprised Rivers
Yeah,
has a
once.
win over him.
That's
Not
bad.
one.
I'm also surprised Luck has played them 6 times.
Yeah, right. I feel they played once in the playoffs that time.
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
they gave him 6 losses for it.
That is an alarming stat, though. Just shows
Yeah.
the Patriots' dominance in the AFC. But
They
Mahomes.
just know how to beat the best teams. Like they know who's going to be there, and they know
to play
how to beat them.
playoff football.
And I said this to Ethan today. I think that these are different teams now with the Chargers, the Texans, and the Chiefs. These are different teams. Like,
Yeah.
they're teams that the Patriots haven't played really yet. Besides, they beat the Chiefs. They did beat the Texans, but
They played every team.
they won. I think, and this might be a little biased, I am a Chargers fan. If you haven't
you?
noticed with the jersey, I do think the Chargers will
Thought
be
that was
beating
a
the
Winnipeg
Patriots.
Jets jersey.
Shout out to
You
Keenan
would
Allen.
like that, wouldn't you?
I do think the Chargers will be beating the Patriots in the playoffs this year. That's the matchup that I want.
All
Call
right.
me crazy, but I'm really down on the past this year. I just don't think that they're the same team.
All right.
And I think that this is the year. 3-31. Say what you want. Brady's whatever. He's done. It's
Yeah,
over.
I'm going
It's
to agree
over.
with Matt here.
It's over.
But I don't think it's going to be the Chargers that take him down. I think it's going to be the Chiefs. The Chiefs just have too much firepower on offense, and I'm all too familiar with Brady's struggles so far because he's on my fucking fantasy team, and he underperforms every week. He has like 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games, and I feel like we say that every week. Yeah, he has 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He throws 1 touchdown every game. I think
games.
they're winning games, but I think in the modern NFL they're gonna run into a team like the Chiefs, who I know they beat them earlier in the season, but
43 points.
yeah, it was a shootout. But in the modern NFL, you're gonna need to change it up a little bit, and I don't know if this formula that the Patriots have is gonna continue to work. And I know they have these doubters every year, and they continue to prove them wrong. But I honestly, I don't see this team beating the Chiefs, and I know that's a bold take, but I think it's a turning of the page in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just after all these years, obviously thinking it's their downfall. We say it all the time. Like you just hope it's going to happen. It never does. But I don't know. This could be the year. I mean, if this looks like it's the year that they finally fall off, Brady finally falls off. But their defense is starting to come around a little bit. I was reading about them today actually, playing way better. They're starting to figure out what they're good at, what they're not good at, and when it gets to the playoffs, they're going to play their game. They're going to dink and dunk. They're going to wear you out until the fourth quarter when it matters, and then you're just their team's defenses are going to be worn out, and Brady's going to score in the last drive of the game.
What's going to happen when Derwin James puts his helmet in his rib cage? Is he going to be all right then?
He'll probably get a penalty.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Job well done. He's a missionary.
I think this
mercenary.
I don't see the Patriots going to the Super Bowl this year. So yeah, I think this is the year that's over. But that is an incredible stat.
That's the matchup I want to see though. Chiefs Patriots. It's like new school versus old school. It's what works today versus what works yesterday, and we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what ends up prevailing.
Cool. So we're done.
Hopefully,
done there with the questions.
Yeah, that's all for the questions. Thank you,
guys.
Shout out Alec, Enzo, Noah, Nick, and Ethan. Thank you for the questions.
Thank you very much. Those are some good questions. All right, so we're going to move on to our last segment here. We got our predictions. We got 4 games going, and we'll never do a punishment. So
nope.
No. We just want to figure out a good one so that everyone,
Maybe by the Super Bowl we'll come up with something.
Maybe by Super Bowl 60. All right, so the first
You
game.
got something to say?
That's funny, guys.
You got something to say?
Don't let Alex speak.
Because I'll expose you.
Yeah, kid thinks he's got blackmail. All right, let's go to the first game. And Alex is a bitch versus... Oh, no, that's not what it says. Ravens-Chiefs is the first game. It is the Ravens at the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
The Chiefs are going to demolish the Ravens.
Why?
Because the Ravens aren't that good.
But they don't have a good defense?
They have a good defense.
They have a great defense.
Yeah, it's good.
Chiefs going 14-2?
I don't know about that. We're just predicting this game, right?
I mean, they got to drop. They're going to drop one. This is the toughest game left on their schedule. I think that the Baltimore has...
They can't win 4 games in a row?
No.
No?
No, not when you play the Ravens.
No, the Ravens.
Yes, the Ravens are good. They've won 3 games in a row. Their defense is playing lights out. They look like they're playing behind Lamar Jackson, kind of just getting the job done. Teams haven't figured it out, and a Chiefs defense that is terrible. Let me say this again. Terrible. They almost blew a game against the Raiders this past week. They gave up 30 points to Derek Carr. Pathetic. It's really just pathetic. Like, their defense, we mentioned it last week, it's going to fuck them over. But most importantly this week, their offense is going to be stifled by Baltimore's defense and the playmakers that they have on that side of the ball. This is the last game that the Chiefs will lose this season, but it's going to happen, and it's going to be Baltimore on the road in Kansas City.
They are in total defense. They are number 1 total defense in terms of yards. They are number 2 in rushing, number 2 in passing yards, and number 3 in rushing yards.
I'm well aware of all that. I know that their defense is very good, but
elite.
They don't play an offense
also
like
in total points. They've let up the least amount of points in the league.
They don't play an offense like the Chiefs every week. Lamar Jackson, rookie quarterback, won his first 3 games. Kudos to him, but the fact of the matter is they played 3 of the worst defenses in the league these last 3 weeks. These last
Bengals
three
are
wins.
actually the worst.
Bengals, Raiders, Falcons, and Jackson's been playing well enough to win games, but he's definitely made his mistakes. He's struggled here and there, especially passing. And I think it's going to be the same story this week against the Chiefs. Chiefs defense is
another terrible defense.
Another terrible defense, but 25 points, 24 points isn't going to cut it against the Chiefs. You need to put up high 30s, and they're not going to do that.
I feel like the Chiefs are just due for just a bad game.
That doesn't really exist though.
But against the best defense in the league, like it happens.
All right, we'll see. I don't think the Chiefs are going to have any trouble with this defense. I think they're going to put up a lot of points, and I think the Ravens aren't going to score easily. They're not going to score quite enough. I'll put the game at I'll say it's going to be 34-20 Chiefs.
Lamar Jackson, he slows the game down. They control the ball. Like with the runs that they have, the RPOs, the short games, a lot of plays per possession.
Yeah,
you have to keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands.
That's the formula to beat a high-powered offense.
Combined with the
Chiefs.
Best defense in the league, they are the exact team that the Chiefs don't want to play.
The Ravens.
That may be true, but I think the Chiefs' offense is just too good for any defense. Period. The Ravens' defense is very good, but the Chiefs are just they're such a well-oiled machine, and I think they're going to come out and try to make a statement after what happened with Kareem Hunt to say, they made the right choice. They're going to be fine without this guy. It's in Arrowhead, which is one of the hardest places to play in all of football. And I don't think a rookie quarterback's going to waltz in there and beat one of the best teams in the league. I just don't see that happening.
And the Ravens, they have not really played many great offenses. They played the Saints and they lost, but they played.
It was a close game, wasn't
it was 24-23. They lost to the Bengals. They beat the Bills 47-3 week 1. Like, all right. I mean, they lost to the Bengals. They gave up 34 points. They beat the Broncos, the Steelers when the Steelers were not playing well at all. They lost to the Browns. They only gave up 12 points, but whatever. Titans lost to the Saints. Panthers put up 36 on them. The Steelers beat them. The Bengals, like Raiders, Falcon, like all these.
Okay, but put those together, it's still the best defense in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, if you go through it and look at the teams they've played, I mean, the defense should be playing well.
No,
and then the team when they play teams with pretty good offenses, I mean, it seems that they're losing those games. They lost to the Panthers, who scored 36. They lost to the Saints, who put up. I mean, it was 24-23, great game, but the Bengals put up 34 on them. I mean, I'm looking at their schedule right now. I'm not going to pretend I'm a Ravens expert, but they're not playing any crazy offenses, any great teams that I'm seeing.
I think they have
not really any playoff teams besides the Steelers and the Saints.
I think their defense is good. I think the Chiefs' offense is better than the Ravens' defense, and the Ravens' offense isn't that good.
I think they're feeling themselves right now. I think things are going well.
Yeah,
Lamar Jackson's
they've
3-0.
won 3 in a row against 3 pretty bad teams. And they'll be put to the test when they play an actual good team.
It's going to be a good game. I think this is going to be a result that surprises people.
I've been a Lamar Jackson defender. I was actually a hater a few years ago when Matt was a big fan, but I became a defender last year. And I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to end up being good. I think he's a very unique player. I don't like when people look at his rushing ability and try and use that as like a dock against him. Like it works and he's good at it, and it helps the team score. Like I don't know.
Stupid.
Oh, he got his points from running the ball. All right,
it counts.
It happened. It counts. It's not like the NFL is like, we're gonna erase that. That's
rushing touchdowns are 4 points.
Yeah, no. So but I mean, he hasn't passed for over 150 yards in a game yet. They're 3-0. Again, they've not played great defenses at all, but
gunslinger.
They're playing the Chiefs. They're about to play the number 1 seed in the AFC. Like,
yeah,
I don't see it going well. So I'm going Chiefs.
Yep.
Give me Baltimore.
All right, we got 2 Chiefs.
It's wishful thinking for sure.
Yeah, no, I like the pick.
I want them
I like
to
that
lose.
you're picking them, but
it's fine.
I only like it because that means
Rams
I
Bears
won't be in last.
All right, Rams versus the Bears in Chicago, Soldier Field.
Alex is all of a sudden.
Is anybody going out on a
center.
limb here? I'm taking the Rams.
I'll take the Bears.
Is Trubisky playing? Like, come on.
If Trubisky plays, that's
I'm
assuming Trubisky plays.
I'm still taking the Rams. I mean,
tough place to play, Soldier Field. It's gonna be cold.
It is, but just they find so many different ways to win. They're just good in so many different ways. The Rams.
They do play a lot of close games.
They do
against worse teams than the Bears.
But they have they have the better quarterback. They have the better offense. Obviously, not the better defense. I just think I mean, they've gone against good defenses before, and they've won the games. I just can't. I can't pick the Bears over the Rams right now.
All right.
I got to go with the Rams. Got to stick with.
I'm going to take the Bears, assuming Trubisky plays. What do you think, Brodsky?
Yeah, I got to go with the Rams too. I'm just going to keep picking the Rams until
For the
they
same
lose.
reason you picked against the
What?
Against the Chiefs?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Rams offense is better than the Chiefs offense. They beat them.
I want to talk about Quincy Enunwa.
Yeah. We can go all night with that. I'll run that back if you want to. But
He had a great game.
two catches for 9
You
yards.
gonna do this?
Alex, thank you
You're doing this
very
right now?
much,
Enough of that.
Alex.
All right,
You
enough
really
of
had to
that.
bring.
Yeah.
Look what you've done.
Right.
Superstars over there.
All right, we don't need to talk about it.
Just
I don't know.
Turn this camera that way.
Well, you guys got nothing to say?
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I've had enough.
The
misery in my
Rams
life.
will beat the Bears because of everything that you guys said about the Chiefs.
So we have an inconsistent one here.
A little inconsistent. I think the Rams are better than the Chiefs. I think that their defense.
So do I.
I think that their defense is better than the Chiefs.
Valid.
The Chiefs' defense. I can't say it enough. I fucking hate their defense. It's
They're
so
terrible.
It's
bad.
very bad.
It's so bad.
It's just.
I trust the Rams more than I trust the Chiefs. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
I can't see the Rams.
Rams
giving
are
this one
good.
up.
They have Talib back now, so that's big.
He is back.
So what it is, it's
He was
a
on a snap count last week.
it's
the
a
defense played much better.
it's a
He's
better
good.
Rams
Amazing.
offense than a better Chiefs offense, and it's a slightly worse Bears defense than the Ravens defense. It's just more in favor of the Rams there, because the Ravens have the best defense, Bears have the second.
Yeah.
I mean the
I
Ravens.
think both of those things are debatable.
I don't think I just
Stats
don't-
wise though, what you see
I
on the
Okay.
team
Is the
stats,
Bears-
that's what it is.
I don't know if the Bears' offense is good enough to really
Stats don't
pull
always
away
tell
from the
full
Rams.
story.
No, it doesn't tell the full story. And of course, the Bears can just have a better game than the Ravens.
If Trubisky
defense.
plays, he's gonna get pressured by Aaron Donald, and their defense may not be great, but they can put pressure on the quarterback. He's gonna get a
Are they
little
11-1,
rattled.
the Rams?
Yeah, they have one loss. But yeah. All right, so what we got? Two
Loss
Rams
number
and
two
one
incoming.
Bears.
Yeah, be 2 Rams, 1 Bears.
All right,
What we
that's
got
gonna be.
next?
I'm excited for that. I hope it's a good game. I'm excited for
Eagles,
that game.
Cowboys. Interesting one.
So you got the Eagles, who obviously are a disappointing team this year, and then you got the Cowboys, who started the season off pretty bad. We talked about them before, and now they've rattled off 4 wins in a row, and they're first in their division. And the Eagles just beat a Mark Sanchez-led Redskins team, and the
2 wins in
Cowboys
a
beat
row.
the Saints. So pretty comparable. I mean, Mark Sanchez, proven playoff winning quarterback.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
I feel bad for Adrian Peterson.
Why?
They're going to put 11 people in the box and just crush him.
And Matt just ruined every piece of
I
technology in
fucked
the
up.
room.
All right. Who are we picking?
Okay,
I'm
Eagles, Cowboys. That's
using
what we're
tossing
doing.
my skip card.
Should we,
This is gonna be a good game.
Yeah,
Eagles are all of a sudden in the thick of it, and if they win this game, they're in first place.
I'm going with the Eagles
You are?
because I don't want to pick Dallas. It's really I'm not going by any statistics or.
That's absolutely disgusting.
What other way was it gonna get clean?
I don't know.
A
Light it up with
napkin?
your fucking
A
shorts.
napkin, maybe not.
What are we at a diner? You have napkins?
We're in a house. We're in a home with items. You're gonna suck juice off the floor if someone spills juice on the floor.
I could guarantee you that this table hasn't been wiped out in years.
Good. Pour your beer out. I'll do it too.
Alex,
Drank all of mine without spilling it.
Oh Jesus, it's getting worse.
I can't believe that. I'm supposed to predict a game now. After that,
I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I think.
you're gonna let this kid slurp liquid off your desk and then take the Dallas Cowboys.
Probably
Zamboni.
drop dead as soon as he leaves. Good at asbestos.
All right, you got the Cowboys. I'm going Eagles. I haven't fully counted the Eagles out this season, and I think I don't know. I just think I could see them stringing together a few wins in a close conference, and I don't know if they'll come out on top. They could, but they definitely could
I think
in a close division. I mean,
I definitely can see.
I said
Eagles
the
winning this.
wrong word.
It's another NFC East matchup where it's a toss-up, and who knows who's gonna win. And it's always a one game between each team. I just think the Cowboys are the more complete team. Give me the Cowboys.
Yep. Deciding factor here for me is that the game is in Dallas.
Yeah.
Did either of you mention that yet?
No.
Because Dallas is
I had a whole presentation about it while you were slurping up goop.
I'm seeing my eyesight is all blurry now
Yeah.
after that. But no, I think the deciding factor, like Dallas plays great at home. We saw it last week when they beat the Saints. What's going on here?
Me and Alex,
You
every
guys got a
episode
thing
we have
going
a
on?
thing.
You guys got a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Whatever. I'll continue to make the right picks. That I think,
Okay.
like we saw with Dallas, like I think that they're just, in Dallas, they're a different team than they are on the road. Give me the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Alright.
I just
I've been
see the Cowboys like fucking it up. I feel like they're that type of team.
If they lose this game, though, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
They'll be tied with the Eagles.
Yeah.
They've won 3 straight. They've kind of
I
done
don't
what
know
they
that.
needed
I
to
don't.
do.
I mean, I know they've won 4 in a row, but they're still 7-5. They haven't been that consistent throughout the season, and it's a division game, so you never know what can come out of those.
Yeah, it's always
It's hard. It's very hard pick. But I'm
just
gonna
looking
go.
at
You're
Dak
both.
Prescott trying to. He's. I think this might be the week he throws for 300 yards.
Yeah. Is it because there was that picture of him where he jumped mad high?
Yes, that picture is the coolest picture of all time.
I can do this. I'm gonna find that picture and I'm gonna put it a graphic right here so everyone can see what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
It's a
'Cause
nice one.
It's
It's one of the
all
coolest Instagrams of all time. Look at it. No,
Right.
but no. I think Dak's gonna have a good game with the Eagles secondary.
I
as
hope he does.
destroyed
When
as it is.
top 4 cornerbacks are out.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I think this is the week that he has 300 yards. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards this season. I take Dallas.
All right, I'm still going Eagles because you both went Dallas. Dallas will probably win, but I'm going Eagles. All right,
Okay,
last game
Where do we stand right
of
now?
the scrap the podcast. I forgot.
Keep going.
Seahawks
Seahawks Vikings.
Yeah, Seahawks Vikings are the last game.
Could not have been a more inefficient way to do that.
Yeah, no,
Are you
it's
trying to
really
write down
bad.
who picked who?
Yeah, it's really bad. All right,
All right.
go.
All right, Vikings Seahawks.
Vikings Seahawks. I'll start it off.
Inefficient.
I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. The Vikings have been. I said earlier in this podcast that they could be a threat in the NFC, but
Is this the Monday night game?
yes, it is Monday night.
This is a good fucking game.
I'm
excited for
even
this
with saying that, I can never trust to pick them in a game because they lose games they should win. They win games they should lose sometimes, or they're a toss up every week. The Vikings, it's just a team that I can't trust unless they start to get hot and then play up to their potential. But the Seahawks have been playing well. I really like Russell Wilson. I just said that before. They have Russell Wilson at receiver. No, I'm just gonna go with the Seahawks just because, for the sake of time, I'm not gonna get too in depth. But that's my pick.
I'm still thinking
What
about
secrets
it.
are being
What are you
thrown
gonna
around
write?
over
Write
here?
Vikings in for me? I haven't even
Matt's
spoken.
drawing.
I'm gonna
Matt's
agree.
drawing the Mona Lisa.
I agree with
2.0.
Richard. I'm gonna take Seattle. And look, we talk a lot
they're
of
wearing
shit.
the green jerseys. Auto win.
Ew.
Ew, those are so
I don't like
ugly.
them, but they're called
Are
Action
they?
Green. Yeah, Seahawks bringing back Action Green jerseys
More
for
like
Monday Night Football.
Not green.
Those are the most disgusting jerseys in all of sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Brooks. No, but I agree with Richard with the Seahawks. And let's give it to Monday Night Football. We shit on them a lot for bad matchups. This
Oh,
is
it's
as
been
good
good
as a
this year.
matchup as you could get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Vikings,
this will be
Seahawks.
the game of the week, I think.
The 2 wild card matchups, like two wild card teams. You might have if you saw the Monday night slate in the beginning of the season, this late into the year, you probably wouldn't have thought it'd be a good game. But it
Probably
turned
would
out
have thought the Seahawks would be
right.
terrible.
Exactly. People were down on the Seahawks. They're 7-5. They're actually
Yeah.
ahead of the Vikings in the wild card right now. It's in Seattle. I don't trust Minnesota to travel at all. I think that they're, like I said earlier, they're way underachieving this season. this is going to be the game that's going to open the door right back up for the Panthers to take their spot. I think Seattle is going to win this game relatively easily.
And I'll just say this before you go, Alex. Sorry. Seahawks have an easy schedule. They play the Chiefs, but they play the 49ers and the Cardinals. Yeah, they play the Chiefs.
Division games. You never know.
All right, but, I mean, the Cardinals?
Just beat the Packers?
Come on.
It seems like they always drop a game.
If they're going to drop a game, it's going to be the Chiefs, I'm thinking. I can't see them losing.
You rarely see the Seahawks sweep those teams.
Yeah, but
it's always competitive.
Those teams are pretty
they've
pretty
also
bad.
never been this bad
Yeah,
before.
they're really
the
bad.
Niners and the Cardinals. They are the
Cardinals
two
are-
worst teams in football.
The Cardinals are usually bad.
No, they're not. This
They
is
haven't
the
been
first
good
year
since like Carson Palmer was there.
Palmer retired last season.
Is that true?
Yes. I think he was hurt, though.
They sucked last year.
They were like 6-10, 7-9.
They suck. Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, they
They've
traded
never
up.
been this bad.
They traded
I
up
wouldn't
for
be- I
Rosen.
wouldn't be
and he was
surprised
picked.
if-
No, did they trade up for? They did trade up for Rosen, but it was what, like pick
11.
The
11,
49ers
yeah.
have been bad in recent years. They've been bad for a long time.
They've
They've
never
been
had
bad
their
since-
third string quarterback. Like these teams are the Seahawks are going to
wouldn't-
destroy them.
Wouldn't surprise me to see those. Anyway, we're talking about this week. I'm going to take the Vikings.
Wilson's having a crazy year.
Switch what you wrote.
Wilson has 29 touchdowns and 5 picks.
Yeah, we know you like him.
Nobody throws interceptions anymore.
29 and 5. I feel like that's pretty under the radar.
No, he's having a great season. He's a great player.
Let me just talk about like his family life. And
So the thing with the Seahawks is their rushing game is really good. Vikings have a stout defense. I think that'll travel with them. And I don't know much about the Seahawks defense, but I just know it's kind of middle of the road. I don't think they have any. Do they have any like great pass rushers that I'm forgetting?
The Seahawks?
Yeah.
No,
they don't.
no, they lost Bennett.
So it's kind of I see this as a pretty good matchup for the Vikings. Besides the fact that it's in Seattle, which is a very tough place to play, but the Vikings need this game even more than the Seahawks do. This will be a statement game for them. They're gonna get the win, and they're gonna
They're
get that respect they deserve.
19th.
I feel like every week we say it's a must-win for the Vikings.
Yeah,
And they always fucking
The
disappoint.
last time I said that, it was that game against the Packers, and they won. So
they're 19th.
No,
in
but I'm
total
not saying
yards.
you. I'm saying in general. It seems like every game is a must-win for the Vikings because they put themselves in a shitty position by losing a game that they shouldn't lose.
yeah, and they just hang around. I think this will be a big win for them.
Until
They're,
they win a big game, I'm not buying into them.
They're
Think
ninth.
if they win this game, that's a big game.
Yeah. If this, I'd be impressed with this win.
They're
in
19th
Seattle.
in total yards let up Seattle, but they're 9th in total points. So
Yeah.
they're respectable
Middle of the road.
defense. Yeah. So
All
what
right.
do we got?
I think,
2 Seattle and 1 Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
wrap this
Bunch
up.
of good games.
Yeah, no, those are some good
I'm
games.
excited for that.
There's
Vikings
actually- I
Seahawks
mean,
game.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about them. I don't want to stray too far away right now, but I mean, you got Colts,
Wanna talk
Texans.
about the Lakers now.
No. I'm just saying, like, there's a bunch of good games this week. You got.
picking a wild card game?
What?
Are we picking a wild card game?
What do you mean a wild
Each
card
pick
game?
a different game?
Oh, you want to do
Oh.
a random one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me just
We
pull
don't-
this up here.
We don't
real
need
quick.
to go deep into it. It's
Yeah, it's just quick rapid fire.
I'll do
But-
Chargers, Bengals, Chargers.
All right,
okay.
there goes Matt. No, I was just gonna
It's gonna be an even game.
I just wanted to say, like, besides the teams the matchups we just did, like, there's some other good matchups. I mean, you got Giants, Redskins division matchup. What's it called? I just said before.
Colts, Texans.
Colts, Texans, like, that's a pretty good matchup. And then along with all the other ones we just said, you got some good games. Jets, Bills, come on. That's some offensive firepower. All right, I'm going to go with...
I'll pick your game. You pick
Yeah,
your game.
Alex, you're going to have Titans, Jaguars.
No. We're not going to release it till after Thursday.
Shit. All right.
I also will be boycotting that game for.
All right.
I hate those teams.
Fine. Wow, there's some, like, pretty low. All right, Falcons, Packers.
Falcons, Packers. Packers.
Okay.
Right after firing the coach, a lot of the time you see
Yeah,
teams
a little
teams-
spark.
a little spark after
I like
that. And I've been saying all year, and I just think the Falcons are not that good.
Mhm.
I don't think the Packers are that good either, but Give me Rodgers.
All right. What's my team, Matt? What's my matchup?
We'll give you Panthers-Browns.
Let me see Cam Newton get his team a win.
Make it right.
I picked the Browns last week, so I'm gonna. No, 2 weeks ago I picked the Browns.
You think that's going to be that much of a blowout?
The Browns aren't that good.
In Cleveland, Panthers lost 4 straight.
Yeah,
Bucks aren't that good.
I'm going Panthers. All right.
It's that's honestly the best game of the. You didn't even give me a game.
I didn't give you a game.
No.
You just said
give the
Chargers.
kid a
You did the
game.
Chargers.
That was kidding.
No, give the kid a game.
You can't just
That's
shout
why I
out
left
like
you
that.
Giants, Redskins.
Wanna do
Chargers,
Giants?
Bengals, dude.
You want Steelers, Raiders?
No.
Oakland.
There's no good. I can't. There's like no good
Giants,
games.
Redskins.
All right, Giants, Redskins. Yeah, Giants, Redskins.
Chargers.
You better be picking the Sanchez.
Give me the Giants.
Idiot.
Kidding me?
A guy like that under center.
All right.
Giants are going to win the division.
All right, let's end it there.
What's so funny?
I would be
You guys,
devastated.
This is the
What,
end of the
the
podcast where we're all hammered and we don't know how to end it and we just make jokes.
All right.
I know how to end
pack
it.
it up, put it away.
Matt and Alex want to keep going back and forth. No, we'll end the memo right there. This was episode 7. Matt is flip cupping in the corner over there. Thank you for tuning in. If you like us, please subscribe. We would love that on YouTube, especially Spotify and iTunes. You can if you want, but YouTube is way cooler because we put a lot of work into the video. So please watch the videos.
Everybody say the memo on 3.
1, 2, 3. The memo. All right. Well, if you didn't want to listen to us before, you probably don't now after that. So thanks a lot.
At least you made it this far.
Yeah, at least you made it. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.